I'm Alpha Trivette, and here's my 5-minute take on the world. Going to start the clock for you right now, and thank you for listening or watching wherever you are. Listening at chilledradio.co.uk and watching at New Radio Alpha, that's nrs.blogtronics.net/alpha, or at kellyandalpha.com, or you could be checking me out on Facebook. Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. Have you heard the latest? Huh? Yeah, after, 36 days, maybe 37 days of oil gushing into the Gulf of Mexico, BP says, oh, hey guys, we made a boo-boo. Yeah, it seems that right before that little explosion thing, that there were some warning signs, like a big buildup in pressure and some buzzers going off and stuff like that, but we just ignored it and kept on pumping. And then came the big kaboom. Yeah, a few people died. And what ensued was probably the biggest environmental catastrophe in the history of the world, of biblical proportions. Our bad, sorry about that. The CEO of BP tells Sky News, it's the ocean. It's really not going to be that big a thing. Really? Yeah, well, thank you very much. Governor of Louisiana, Bobby Jindal, is saying, look, guys, somebody help us here, please. If nobody has any idea, I've got an idea. We'll build a berm around some of our barrier islands, at least to protect it from the oil washing up on shore. And the Environmental Protection Agency says, well, going to have to do an environmental impact statement on that. How could it be any worse than oil washing up on shore? Meanwhile, BP's pointing fingers at the government's pointing fingers at BP, the states and the people pointing fingers at both of them. And Chris Dodd, senator from Connecticut, says, hey, it's that George Bush's fault. I got a big fat finger for all of you, okay? Can we do something to get it done? When Russia had a similar problem like that, they blew up the darn thing. And it stopped. It's a risk, but it's better than nothing, right? And government and BP don't seem to be doing much of anything about that. Here's your brain stretcher question for today. 83 New York transit workers, bus drivers, took an average of 51 paid days off when this happened to them. What happened to them? We'll have the answer for that in just a few minutes. Congratulations, you are the owner of nearly $118,000 in debt. Yeah, that's every American's share of the now over $13 trillion in debt. And that keeps growing every day. See, right now we're at 90% of GDP. In other words, if you make $100 a year, your expenses are $90 a year. You got $10 left over. Go out and have a good time with that, okay? Yeah. Pass it on to your kids, too, because they're going to need to help you pay for all that stuff. I was talking about this yesterday. Why aren't we asking why? Well, apparently, a few people in the White House press corps are starting to ask why and who and where and when. And you know what Robert Gibbs, the White House spokesperson, says? He scolded them because they're asking too many questions. Now, this White House said it was going to be the most transparent White House in history? Totally devoid of transparency. I see. Asking too many questions? I remember years ago, back when I was in the Soviet Union, I went over there for a tour of agricultural sites, and there were two newspapers. There was Izvestia and Pravda. And the joke there was, well, because Izvestia or Pravda, one of them means news and the other means information, okay? And the joke was, there is no Pravda in Izvestia, and there is no Izvestia in Pravda. I know, those Russian comedians, they're a killer. But the point is, you got no real news or no real information from either one of them. And what did we talk about yesterday? Confusion, trying to confuse everything, ask too many questions, you get over the confusion. They don't want that. Yeah, they don't want that. But there is great news. Oh, yes. Dancing with the Stars. Nicole Scherzinger won. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's one of the Pussycat Dolls. Pussycat Dolls? Yeah, I know. I mean, they're a singing, dancing, recording girl group, kind of like the little younger sisters of the Spice Girls. A lot of cleavage, a lot of booty shaking, gyrating, hip thrusts, that sort of thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Anyway, she's the winner, and oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we get to find out who the American Idol winner is, and oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, Bachelorette is now in full swing. That's kind of like a legalized gangbang in softcore version on network TV. Yeah, it's really sad. All right, that's it. That's the good news and the bad news for today. And here's the answer to your brain stretcher question for today. Apparently, these transit workers, paid by taxpayers, took that many days off, an average of 51 days off, because they were spat upon by a passenger. Yeah. Apparently, that's considered an assault, and it's so traumatic for the driver, they actually have to take days off. In fact, one driver actually took 191 paid days off because he had to wipe a little spit. Any wonder that tax bill keeps growing and growing. That's it. I'm Alpha Trivette, my 5-minute take on the world. See you next time.